Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I'm here to preview a watch I just recently purchased. It's a Motorsports watch, and in keeping with the channel, which is sort of Mustang related, I would say, Boss 302 and 66 Shelby GT350 Hertz, which are my two primary cars that are near and dear to my heart. This watch is a replica of the Steve McQueen Monaco watch. It's the Heuer Monaco. He wore a Heuer Monaco watch in the making of the movie Le Mans, and it looked very much like this watch with a square back case. It's brushed or polished stainless steel. This particular watch is a replica of that watch, and it has a leather strap with the perforations in the strap, which are Motorsports inspired. It allows air to cool the wrist. It allows perspiration to escape, and it's very customary to have these perforations in leather straps on motorsport watches. It also has a very nice deployable clasp on it, which is pretty much identical to the Heuer Monaco, tag Heuer Monaco, if you will. There are two different variations of it. The Heuer Monaco was the original that Steve McQueen wore, and the tag Heuer is another branch off of the Heuer. They also made a replica, or they made actually not a replica, but they made a reintroduction of the Heuer Monaco, and they also did a branch off with a tag Heuer with variations. So you could get it with a Gulf livery, which is what the colors were for the racing Porsche 1917K back in 1970-71. And it would be the light orange and light blue stripes. And Tag Heuer also makes that as a commemorative edition of their Heuer Monaco watch. And yeah, I mean, I'm very satisfied with this watch. It was $82 all in out the door through AliExpress, which unfortunately is, it's a Chinese order. It came from China, but pretty much everything does. Don't look at me. It's not my fault. I didn't vote for that. I mean, I like stuff made in the U.S. I like stuff made in Europe, but this is where we're at today. So, but surprisingly, the Chinese are actually getting very good at making watches. They're catching up, I think, to the Swiss, because this thing here, it has a Japanese movement in it. It's a Seiko Mecha quartz movement. So it's a combination of quartz and mechanical internals in it. And I've only had the watch for probably about 6-7 hours right now, and it seems to be keeping very good time. The clasp is very easily adjustable, and it will adjust perfectly to your wrist size. It seems kind of clunky because it's thick, but that's how the originals were. And the originals were a chronograph. They were a mechanical, actually they were an automatic chronograph. And the stem on the original back in 1970 was put on it would be the left side of the watch to remind you that you didn't have to wind it. So it was no longer necessary to wind it. It was an automatic, and Heuer was, I believe, the first to come out with the chronograph that was an automatic. It was a race between various Swiss manufacturers, and they turned out to be the first one to come to the table. It was not a popular watch when it was first released, apparently. It was very hard to sell. And Jack Heuer, I think, who was the proprietor of Heuer watches back then, he was able to get several of these watches over to the crew on the movie set of Le Mans with Solar Productions, and Steve McQueen saw the watch. He liked the watch, and he decided, hey, I'm going to use this in the movie, and he wore it as the main character, Michael Delaney, who was the race driver for Porsche, the 917 Porsche that ultimately won Le Mans in the movie. The Gulf livery, I don't think they won Le Mans in 1970. It was a different team, but the Gulf livery certainly was cool. And of course, as most of you know that are into motorsports history will know, that in 1969, the Gulf livery was on the this car here, the Jackie X Ford GT40, and that won Le Mans. It was probably the closest finish ever in any Le Mans race, because I think there was like seconds away they were seconds ahead of a Porsche 917. I mean, it was really a really close race. And I think that was the last year that they decided to do the running start where the cars are parked and the drivers race to the cars and jump in and take off. And as a protest, I think Jackie Ixon, he walked to the car in a protest because he thought it was very dangerous to have a running start to any of these races. It's very dangerous. And the protest didn't seem to matter because his walking to the car, they still won the race. So he basically demonstrated that you don't have to run to the car in order to be competitive and win the race. So I don't know why they had that running start. That's a European thing. Maybe it was here in the States. I don't know. But perhaps they wanted to inject a little more athleticism into the motorsports arena. So you had to be physically fit to get to your car as fast as you can, jump into the seat, get the car started, and then take off. So there was a little more to it, like level of hand-eye coordination that would get them going, and that would make it a little more drama at the beginning of the start instead of the usual races now these days, which are running starts where the cars do like a pace lap around under a caution flag, and then the green flag drops, and then they all hit the gas and go. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. This has the chronograph dials, very much like the Monaco original. You'll notice that the dial on the right side here is for 24 hours. I don't know if you can see it, see if the camera focuses properly on it. It really wants to focus on my face. Let's see. It's not really focusing. But it's a 24-hour dial, so it will count off 24. It also has the date down below at the 6 o'clock position. And on the right side, it has minutes. So if you click this here, this will be your chronograph that's running. You got the little red hand, or it's actually an orange hand, pardon me. And I don't know if you can see it running, but it's moving along there. I wish I could get the focus better on this. Maybe it shows a little better that way if I pull it back. But anyway, it's very crisp when you push the button, and then it does a quick reset. Boom, and it's back to 12 o'clock again. Very nice watch. It's real leather. It looks expensive actually, although the watch was $82. So, I mean, I want to see what these watches are like. I want to get the feel for it. If I'm going to actually make the jump and buy myself a Heuer Monaco or a Tag Heuer Monaco, of which there are various types. They have the Dark Lord, which is an all black face, which just looks really cool. They only made a few of those. They also have the driver's Heuer Monaco, which completely lights up. It's full of super luminova. So the whole watch face lights up at night, and it becomes very brilliant, very nice, soft blue actually. And it makes it much easier to see your whole watch at night when you're driving. The luminova, it lasts about 3 or 4 hours. I tried the lumen on this, and it doesn't last too long. It's not incredibly bright, but the watch is $82. So, I mean, that's basically what you can expect. Yeah, I mean, it looks very similar, very, very similar to the Tag Heuer and the Heuer Monaco. Although they don't have the Gulf livery at the bottom there that an original Gulf Monaco would have. It would have that Gulf livery there. That's one difference. And another big difference is the name of the watch brand, which is Specht and Sohne. Specht, S-P-E-C-H-T, and Sohne, S-O umlaut, the 2 dots over the O, S-O-H-N-E. That is the watch brand. I have reason to believe it's made in China. I think it's a micro brand made here in the US, and then the parts are assembled in China. It does have a Japanese movement. My understanding is the movement is very, very reliable on it. And the watch will last about 3 years. It has 4 tiny screws in the back to remove the back of the case when you're changing out the battery. I don't know how long this watch is going to last, but I certainly am getting a good feel for it. It has an amazing presence on one's wrist for an extremely affordable price. It beats paying $5,000 plus or minus on the gray market for an original Heuer Monaco. You may be able to get one for about $4,000 if you look hard enough on eBay. I could suggest eBay is probably a good area to buy a watch because they have the watches that are sold that have the eBay guarantee, it's my understanding that the watch is actually sent over to a watch inspector, and they will confirm whether the watch is real or fake before the transaction is ultimately consummated. So this watch here, though, is brushed stainless steel. It's got some heft to it. It's got a bit of weight to it, even though it's a quartz. So it's a very nice steel case. I could highly recommend it. I'm going to be wearing it. I'll be wearing it when I drive the Boss 302 or the 66 Hertz GT350H. And we'll see what kind of time it tells. That's pretty much all I have. Just one more thing. I do have a new website that I created. It's called treadheart.com, www.treadheart.com. That's where I'm previewing my original first book of automotive-related horror stories. As some of you might know, I enjoy writing automotive-related horror, and I have a channel for that, which is called Roadscape Horror. But now I have a paperback book, and I also have an ebook version, and also an audio version of the 5 horror stories that I've compiled into a book called The Dragon's Toll. So if you're interested, I invite you to check out that website, and please order a book if you feel any interest or inspiration to be told several very interesting and presumably terrifying stories about automotive-related horror. I like to write very bizarre stories that are way out there, and the car is always the mechanism that propels the story forward. And that's pretty much it. That's a wrap, and I will keep you all posted on how this watch goes as time progresses. You can check it out on AliExpress if you're interested in ordering one. That's $82, I think, all in, out the door. You'll find other sites that charge like $200-300 for the same watch. AliExpress, it's in and out the door, and it arrived, I'd say, what did I order it on? Ordered on January 8th, and today's the 22nd. So it got here in a fairly quick period of time, coming all the way from the other side of the world. Anyway, enjoy your day, morning, evening, and we will chat another time. Take care. Bye.